Did you hear the one about the claustrophobic astronaut? I guess he needed a little space. Welcome to Acquisition Pro Tips, where we seek to demystify and break down the essentials of government contracting so you can navigate the process with confidence. I'm Josh, a warranted government contracting officer, and today we're building on what we started in our last episode, which was on writing a performance work statement, or PWS. That episode was all about defining what needs to be done, the outcomes, objectives, and measurable results. But once your PWS is finished, you've only told half the story. Today we're writing the sequel, the Quality Assurance Surveillance Plan, also known as the QASP. The PWS defines what success looks like, while the QASP defines how we measure it. We'll also use AI, just like last time, to help us build a QASP and surveillance matrix that are structured, traceable, and performance-based. So if you've ever been told to write a QASP and immediately opened an old template form, this episode is for you. The QASP is the government's playbook for monitoring contractor performance. It defines what will be monitored, how it will be monitored, who will do the monitoring, and how results will be documented. It's how we verify the contractor is delivering what we outlined in the PWS. The QASP is not about micromanaging. It's about accountability with fairness, consistency, and transparency. If the PWS tells the story, the QASP is how we grade the ending. When it comes to creating and managing a QASP, everyone on the acquisition team plays a vital role. The contracting officer holds the legal authority. They award the contract, ensure compliance, and have the final say on performance and payment. The contracting officer representative, or COR, is the CO's eyes and ears. They perform day-to-day surveillance, document results, verify deliverables, and record performance in the Surveillance and Performance Monitoring Module, or SPM. The COR also issues corrective action reports when the contractor fails to meet performance standards. The contract administrator supports both the CO and COR, handling contract modifications, ensuring documentation is filed properly, and coordinating communication across the team. The Quality Assurance Program Coordinator, or QAPC, serves as a technical advisor and quality subject matter expert. They help develop the QASP, review its content for accuracy, and ensure the performance standards and AQLs make sense for the requirement. They also review and approve any revisions to the QASP as mission needs change. The end user or customer is often the first to notice when performance slips. They assist the COR by providing first-hand feedback and submitting customer complaint reports when services don't meet expectations. Their input is vital. It keeps the QASP grounded in mission impact and real-world results. The legal office ensures the QASP complies with policy and contract law. They review language for clarity and make sure our surveillance methods don't cross into personal services or unauthorized direction of contractor employees. And finally, the contractor. They're responsible for meeting the requirements of the PWS through their own quality control plan, or QCP. Their job is to manage their employees, maintain compliance, and deliver results that meet the standards we outlined in the PWS. Together, these roles form a multifunctional team that keeps contract oversight balanced, professional, and mission-focused. Now, if it's been determined that a COR is required for surveillance under the contract and it's above the SAT, then a QASP isn't optional.
Okay.
It's required for all performance-based service contracts. It's what gives the government a structured way to inspect, evaluate, and accept the work being performed. Unlike the PWS, which becomes part of the contract, the QASP is a living document. It can be updated without a modification as long as performance standards remain consistent. That flexibility is what makes it so useful. The COR uses several methods to evaluate performance, with those being 100% inspection for critical tasks like access control. They can use things like random sampling for recurring tasks such as perimeter patrols, periodic sampling for occasional tasks like emergency drills, and customer feedback which validates quality from the end user's perspective. When performance doesn't meet standards, the core has three primary tools. The first one being a customer complaint report, which documents an end user's complaints and tracks resolution. The second is a performance assessment report, which summarizes recurring or observed performance issues and trends. And the last one is a corrective action report, also known as a CAR, which addresses serious or repeated failures that require formal correction. These tools ensure accountability, not punishment. They document the facts so the CO can make informed decisions. When issues persist or escalate, the CO steps in. Their corrective tools include a cure notice, giving the contractor time to fix the issue, a show cause letter, requiring the contractor to explain why the contract shouldn't be terminated, and if necessary, termination for cause or default, depending on the type of contract and clauses utilized. These are the last resorts, and they only come after the core has fully documented performance shortfalls in SPM through the use of CARs, PARs, and CCRs. When nominated, the core completes required training, and the CO issues a designation letter in the Joint Appointment Module, or JAM. That letter defines exactly what the core can do, what they can't, and how often they must perform surveillance. It's simple. If it's not in your designation letter, it's really not your responsibility.
Okay.
Inside PI, you'll find SPM, the Surveillance and Performance Monitoring Module, where the core tracks performance and records inspection results. SPM is also where all CCRs, PARs, and CARs get uploaded, creating an auditable record of contractor performance. The surveillance frequency is established by the CO. It can be daily, weekly, monthly, or annually, and it's based on what's written in the core's JAM designation letter. SPM becomes the living record that links the QASP, PWS, and contractor performance into one transparent system. Each piece of documentation entered in SPM, every PAR, CAR, and CCR forms the foundation for the contractor's annual rating within the Contractor Performance Assessment Reporting System, also known as CPARS. Good documentation equals a fair and defensible performance record. And for contractors, CPARS isn't just paperwork, it's their competitive edge. Strong ratings make them more likely to win future awards, while weak ones can hold them back. That's why the QASP matters. It's not just about oversight, it's about ensuring fairness, accountability, and transparency across the acquisition process. When generating the QASP, the mission partner needs to consider including the following information, ensuring that it meets and includes a comprehensive approach pertaining to quality assurance measures. That includes a vision and mission statement defining its purpose, definitions and acronyms for clarity, roles and responsibilities for all stakeholders, deliverables schedule to track required reports, a performance requirement summary, also referred to as the services summary matrix, showing what's being inspected and how often, and procedures for corrective action documentation, the CARs, PARs, and CCRs. If your QASP includes all of these, you're ready for real-world surveillance. Let's look at how this works in practice. If a core notices a guard missing an hourly patrol, that's a random sampling deficiency, documented in a PAR directly tied to the services summary section. If an end user reports an unattended access point, that's logged in as a CCR because it's directly coming from an end user. If either issues repeats, the core issues a CAR, and if performance still doesn't improve, the CO takes over with a cure notice. The key here is consistency and documentation. The QASP provides the structure, so none of this becomes guesswork. Cores must remain professional and objective. It's natural to want to build relationships with contractor staff over time, but professionalism always comes first. You're there to evaluate performance, not personalities. Avoid close relationships, favoritism, or actions that could create a conflict of interest. Your credibility as a core depends on maintaining impartial and consistent oversight. Just like we did in our last episode with the PWS, we can use AI to help us build a working draft of a QASP in just 5 easy steps. Now again, let me be clear, AI isn't going to write a perfect document for you, but it will give you a solid starting point and save hours of formatting time. I'm going to use AskSage for this demonstration since I have access to it, but if your organization doesn't, you can also use NIPR GPT on the DoD network. Whatever tool you use, the process is basically the same. So let's get started. Step 1. Start by uploading the final PWS we created in episode 7. That gives the AI the context of the requirement. It knows what the contractor is expected to do and can build matching performance standards. I also recommend building upon the already created chat that you have with the AI. That way, it knows your writing preferences and can build upon what you've already generated. Step 2. Give the AI a clear prompt. Here's what I might type. Using the uploaded PWS for 24/7 security guard services at our U.S. Federal Research Center in Germany, draft a quality assurance surveillance plan with sections for vision, mission, roles and responsibilities, methods of surveillance, and a performance requirements summary. Within seconds, AskSage builds an outline with those exact sections, all properly structured. Step 3. Refine and customize. Next, I'll add realistic performance objectives for perimeter patrols, access control, emergency response time, and incident reporting. The AI returns a clean surveillance matrix with sample AQLs, like 99.5% for access control and 3-minute emergency response times. Those numbers look familiar because they match the standard from our PWS. That's the power of context-based drafting. Step 4. Add role definitions and documentation process. Next, I'll prompt the AI, include role descriptions for the CO, or CA, QAPC, legal, and end user based on federal practice, and describe how each records surveillance results in SPM. It generates a professional paragraph for each role, something you can lift directly into your QASP draft. And step 5, check for compliance and tone. Finally, I'll review the QASP for clarity and plain language consistent with federal acquisition writing standards. The AI identifies jargon, rewrites long sentences, and even points out places where I accidentally use passive voice. After that, I download the draft, review it with my QAPC and legal team, and within a couple of hours, we've got a ready-to-review QASP that sometimes used to take days, if not even weeks, to write. Just remember, AI is a tool, not a shortcut. You still need to validate every section, confirm the performance metrics, and make sure the language aligns with your mission and local policies. But using AskSage or NIPR GPT can dramatically speed up the drafting process while improving consistency and reducing human error. So if your team is building a QASP by cutting and pasting from old templates, it might be time to let AI take the first draft and save your brain power for parts that actually require judgment. Now, let's wrap up this video with my 10 acquisition pro tips to help you manage your QASP effectively and avoid some of the most common pitfalls I've seen over the years. Number 1, share your QASP with the contractor sparingly. You can discuss it with them, but don't ever attach it to the contract or include it in the solicitation. The QASP is for government eyes only. It's our internal surveillance playbook. You don't want to hand the contractor a map that shows exactly when and how you'll inspect them. Instead, share only what's necessary, the expectations, performance standards, and outcomes. Think of it like a teacher giving students the syllabus, not the answer key. Number 2, remember that the QASP is a living document. It's not a one-and-done attachment that gets buried in a shared drive forever. If the mission changes, you discover new risks, or if the contractor consistently performs well in one area and struggles in another, adjust your surveillance. You don't need a modification to update your QASP. You just need to document what changed and why. Flexibility is what makes the QASP work in the real world. Number 3, use your anteater use your end users as your eyes and ears. They're typically the ones interacting with the contractor every single day. Create an easy way for them to report issues, like giving them access to a customer complaint report. If something goes wrong, say a janitor misses cleaning a sensitive area, or a guard leaves a gate unattended, the end user can flag it. The core then validates the complaint and documents it in SPM. That system not only keeps you informed, but also empowers the people most affected by the service. Number 4, get full coordination and approval before finalizing your QASP. This is a team product, not a solo effort. You'll want to review and get buy-in from your QAPC, contracting officer, contract administrator, program manager, legal, and even the end user's functional commander, with each of them bringing a different perspective to the table. The QAPC focuses on technical accuracy, legal ensures compliance, and leadership makes sure your plan aligns with mission priorities. A QASP built in isolation usually fails in execution. Number 5, appoint an alternate core. Because life happens, people go on leave, take TDYs, or they get sick. The mission cannot stop just because the core is not available. An alternate core ensures continuity of surveillance, keeps documentation flowing, and helps maintain oversight coverage when the primary is out. If Murphy's Law applies anywhere, it's contracting, and an alternate core is your safety net. Number 6, document everything in SPM. If it's not written, it didn't happen. Every observation, corrective action, or performance review should go into the surveillance and performance monitoring module. It's your single source of truth for contractor oversight. SPM records feed directly into CPARs, and if the contractor disputes their rating, you'll have a clear, factual trail to back up your assessment. Good documentation isn't just administrative, it's accountability. Number 7, set realistic standards and surveillance frequencies. Don't build a QASP that demands perfection or constant monitoring. If you write a plan that requires inspecting 100% of every task, you'll set yourself up for failure and overwhelm your core team. Instead, focus on what matters, the high risk and high impact areas that affect mission performance. Surveillance is about meaningful data, not volume. Number 8, reference the contractor's quality control plan, or QCP. Remember, the QCP is their internal blueprint for ensuring performance. They're the experts in their own field. If you're writing a QASP for something like custodial services, base maintenance, or like in our example within this video, security services, use their QCP to understand what good looks like from an industry perspective. Aligning your QASP with their control measures creates synergy instead of friction and leads to a more realistic and effective oversight plan. Number 9, take corrective action even when something isn't in the QASP or PWS. Not every issue will tie neatly to a line item or performance standard. For example, if a contractor's employee shows up intoxicated, sleeps on the job, or violates safety rules, that's still a performance problem. Even though it's not written in your surveillance matrix, you still can take action. Issue a CAR or CCR, depending on who identifies the problem. The point is, you're protecting the mission, not just enforcing paperwork. And finally, number 10, avoid the appearance of personal services. This is a big one. You're not the contractor's boss. You're the government's representative evaluating outcomes, not managing people. If performance is slipping, notify your contracting officer. Let them handle direction to the contractor. You don't want to blur the lines or create the appearance of an employer-employee relationship. Only the CO and sometimes the core within delegated authority can provide direction. Keeping that boundary clear protects both you and the integrity of the contract. So when you apply all of these, your QASP becomes more than a checklist. It becomes a living, flexible oversight plan that builds accountability, fosters trust, and strengthens the partnership between the government and the contractor. And there you have it, the basics of a contract's quality assurance, the QASP, which transforms your PWS from a plan into performance. It's how the government ensures the services we buy are delivered safely, efficiently, and effectively. In next week's video, we're switching gears to focus on contractor invoicing in WAF using the combo document type. We'll walk through the process step by step, showing how to get invoices approved faster and avoid common rejections, ensuring you as the contractor gets paid fast in accordance with your efforts. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please consider supporting this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so you never miss another acquisition pro tip.